This video is not to discourage anybody. I'm not here to say, oh my God, it's so hard and turn away, run ladies, or you just don't know how easy you have it when you're single. No, I believe in marriage. I encourage anyone who wants to get married to do just that. Welcome to A Chosen Covergirl, where we talk about living life full of joy, confidence, and faith, as well as everything in between. I'm your girl, Daniela. So today we are continuing the conversation on what I wish I knew before I got married. As I mentioned in that previous video, I posed a question to other married women. So I wanted to do a part 2 with their responses because they came up with some really great responses, some things that I didn't think about or you may not have thought about prior to getting married, and maybe you are dating somebody seriously. And these are some questions that need to be asked for the success of marriage. I myself did premarital counseling before I got married, and we did touch up on some serious subjects. But I also feel like, yeah, we touched up on it and it got a little serious, but sometimes you got to really dig deep. And if it's something that you're doing like 3 weeks before you get married, or just a month or a month and a half before you get married, you really don't get the opportunity to address the issues and ponder on it and give each other time to walk away from it, come back, think about it. So these are definitely something that you want to think about and questions that you want to discuss and touch up on well before you're already, getting ready to walk down the aisle. If marriage is not in your plans, it's okay. You don't have to go off of society's timeline for you or society's plan for your life. We think, okay, from when we're little girls, we got to grow up and we got to get married. Some are told you just have to be a great housewife and have babies and raise your family. Some are encouraged also to have a job, but marriage is always in the life plan that is, told to us since we're little girls. So this is just a reminder. You probably already know this, but it's a reminder that maybe you don't want to get married and it is okay. Maybe that's not for you. Or maybe you don't want to be married as young or as early as some of the other young ladies or somebody in your family or as your mom. That's okay also. Remember, this is your life. Plan out your life. Don't worry about society's expectations of you. Have the expectations for yourself. So you really have to dig deep into yourself and ask yourself that question, and you got to be prepared for the responses and from your family or from whoever who expect certain things of you, that you decide, I have a different plan for myself. So that's one important tip that I would recommend that each and every one does before they decide to walk down that aisle. Is this really for me? Is this really what I want? One response that I got from a lot of women is don't look at, I don't want to say don't. A person's potential is very important. It's great. We like to look at a man's potential, but you got to go beyond the potential, because there's potential and then there's the drive. There is the motivation and the ambition. There's the hard work that goes beyond it. So you can look at a guy's potential and say, oh my God, he will be so great. He's going to be a great provider. But if he's not self-motivated, if he doesn't have that drive and that ambition to do things for himself and for his family, then there's nothing that you can do that's going to make him do just that. And it's going to frustrate your marriage. And this particular subject, this particular point was given to me by multiple women. So really look at that. I know that potential is great, but potential, I'm sure you guys have heard this, potential doesn't pay the bills, and it really, I'm going to just say it again. It really is up to the individual to be self-motivated and to want to do it and to tap into his potential, his God-given potential, the skills, the talents that he has within him. Because I can't tell you how many women that I know who have pushed and tried to push their husband and say, hey, do this, do that. Have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? And, they're the driving force, trying to motivate their man. And it can really, really, really be discouraging when you have to do that in your marriage. So really look at the person that you're dating or that you plan on marrying and really determine whether or not he's a go-getter, whether or not he's going to do what he needs to do, whether or not he's motivated, and you don't have to always cheer him on. Because at the end of the day, of course, we want to be our husband's cheerleaders. We want to cheer them on. We want to support them, but we can't do the heavy lifting for them. Remember that. This right here is so important, guys. It's important to ask about, your significant other's family dynamics. That is so important because the in-laws play a really, really, really big role in your marriage. So what kind of relationship you have with your in-law, he has with, your side of the family, that's very important because you got to remember that was your family before this man became your family. And yes, the Bible says that we're supposed to, leave our mothers and our fathers, and we're supposed to cling on to our husband the husband's supposed to cling on to his wife. But as sound as that may be, it's not practical for some people. Some people just don't know how to do just that. So depending on his relationship with his mother, she may influence what's going on inside your home. Depending on your relationship with your parents, they may influence what's going on inside of your home. So it's important to understand the family dynamics, how close your boyfriend or your significant other is to his parents, how much influence they have over him, and will it affect what's going on in your household. Not just that, family trauma. Was your significant other adopted? Was he neglected or abandoned by his family, by his mom, or by his father? Does that person have abandonment issues? In the moment, it might not seem like it's a big deal because they give you all this attention, they love you, but that may play a role in how he interacts with the kids in the future, how he feels you should be interacting with your parents or your in-laws, So really, really, really take a close look into any family trauma, any issues with abandonment, whatever deep-rooted issues that may be in the family. And these are hard questions, but these are questions that need to be asked. And you may have to even recommend counseling. It is so important, yes, that we do premarital counseling, but it is also so important that each person comes into the marriage whole. Each person needs to come into the marriage whole in order for the marriage to have a fighting chance of being successful, because I can't make my husband whole and he can't make me whole, and vice versa when it comes to the dynamic of your relationship. You can't make your significant other whole, and it may require counseling in order for that to happen before you guys even come together. So it's an important issue when it comes to family trauma or whatever mental issue that may be going on with your significant other. I say family trauma, we also need to look at the family history, the mental health of the people in your partner's family, as well as in your own family, and something that you need to discuss openly, because mental health is such a big deal, and it can be genetic. Does your mom have depression? Does she suffer from depression or schizophrenia or bipolar disease? Does anybody in your family? What about your grandmother? What about your uncle? These are things that needs to be discussed. Do you have bipolar issues? And how do you deal with them when you're high or when you're low? Something that definitely needs to be discussed. And also, how are we going to deal with it if we have kids that have that issue? If marriage is for a lifetime, and if you're looking for a life partner, these are lifetime issues that need to be discussed, because we're here to do whatever we can to equip ourselves for a successful long-term marriage. Guys, I've been married going on 15 years this year. It's not easy. It's hard, but it's seasonal. You got your seasons where everything is amazing. You got your seasons where it's not so amazing. You got your seasons where you're not communicating as often as others. And then you got your seasons where you're, when you're dealing with outside issues that are trying to affect the core of your marriage and what's going on inside your marriage. So trust you me, in order for longevity in your marriage, it's certain issues that you just gotta address head on. Along the lines of family and, your outside family, what happens if somebody on the outside needs your help, needs to come into your home that you need to take in? As in, like, what happens if you have your sister or your brother or somebody who has some issues? Maybe, God forbid, they're incarcerated. God forbid they get, they pass away. Are you going to be able to take on their child or their children? Can you do that? And these are conversations that you need to have with your soon-to-be spouse. And it's a conversation that if you haven't had with your current spouse, you need to have those conversations, because God forbid something happens and then there's no family member to take in the kids. And then you're like, I'm not doing it. Our hands are full. What are you going to do? Are they going to go into foster care? Are you going to be like, let's just go ahead and do this? Is it going to be a strain on your marriage? Is your spouse going to say, nah, I didn't sign up for that? And then you're like, but that's my nephew. That's my niece. Like, what happens then? Definitely something that's very important and that needs to be addressed. Kids are a game changer. So that's another topic that a lot of the women have really weighed in on and said, kids became a game changer when it came to my marriage. And of course, what I find that a lot of men have issues with, my husband had this particular issue, and I know, and I have a couple friends who said that their spouse had that issue. It's when you stop giving your husband the same amount of attention and then you give it to the kids. And we already know it's been touched up on. We even discussed it prior to getting married. But there's one thing to say, I'm going to try to give you as much as the same attention. We're going to, the kids aren't going to interfere with what we got going on. But let's be practical. Let's be practical. And especially if you have more than one child, there's going to be a season where you got to really have that conversation with your husband or with your soon-to-be husband and say, listen, I understand that, you really need me to pay this attention to you, or you really need for us to continue to have the quality time that we used to have. But realistically, I am drained. For me to do that would to pull from me and deplete me, because I have to give a certain amount of attention to these kids. They require it, guys. They require it. Listen, guys, I don't know if any guy is watching this particular video, but you want that extra time. You want your woman to continue to show up in the bedroom and in other areas. How about you help her? And I'm not saying that our spouses aren't helping us, because trust you me, my husband helps with the kids, and our spouses, they help, but they fail to realize that a lot of times our kids don't want daddy. They can show up for the day and try to help all they want, and the child is like,
but I didn't call for you. I want mommy.
And so it's hard sometimes to juggle being a wife and being a mom. It's really hard. A big one. What happens if we can't have kids? I remember having that conversation with my husband as well. What happens if we can't have kids? And a lot of times you'll get the response, we'll just adopt. But the thing is, that is a surface response. Okay, we can adopt, or we'll cross that bridge when it comes. Let's not cross that bridge when it comes. Definitely something that you want to discuss in detail. Now, you say that we'll adopt. Now, the question now, go further. What will we adopt? I feel like right off the bat, people just automatically is like, okay, we're just going to adopt a baby. Yes, but what about other options? A baby, or maybe a school-aged kid, or are we going to adopt a teenager? Let's really think about that. And does it have to be gender specific? Let's really think about those things when it comes to adoption. And instead of just saying, oh, we'll adopt, let's be specific about what type of child we'll adopt. What's going to be the ethnicity of the child? What's going to be the background of the mom and the dad? Their family background of this child. Let's really think about those things. And also, what about IVF and alternative options? How far are you willing to go? If IVF doesn't work the first time or the second time, how much resource are you willing to put into it? Well, are you willing to deplete your finances? Are you willing to go the extra mile in order to make sure you get the child that you desperately want and deserve to have in your life? Also, when it comes to adoption and IVF, is it still an option if we already have a child? Yes, we said that we were going to have a big family. We said that we were going to have like 3, 4, 5 kids. So if after child number 1, there's issues and you're not going to naturally have this big family, now are you going to adopt? Is adoption still on the table? Ask your significant other, is adoption still on the table, or was it only if we can't have kids? Can we still adopt to grow our family? Can we still adopt or go through alternative methods and IVF in order to grow our family? Oh, and when it comes to disciplining kids, that's such a big deal. Guys, when I tell you, it is a big deal, because when you're the person that disciplines the children, it's like you're the bad parent. And it's like I feel like there should not be one person, one parent that disciplines, because it becomes unfair. Oh, that's the disciplinarian. And you want to be on the same team. You want you and your spouse to be on the same team and on the same page with how you're going to discipline, and just and discussing what requires, what behavior requires punishment and what kind of punishment for each behavior. Definitely a big deal, because I know in my family, I am the one who disciplines, whereas my husband does it. And I'm like, why I always got to be the bad guy? Don't do that. It's not fair to me. And that's the same with some of my girlfriends. Like, why do we always have to be the bad parent? So it's definitely something that you want to address prior to getting married. And for my husband, that's just not his thing. He doesn't like to discipline. That's not his thing. But trust you me, my kids are not going unpunished. They are not going undisciplined, because the Bible says that, what does it say? Spare the rod, spoil the child. I hope I touched up on most, if not all, of the Oh, yes. This was a good one. I had someone respond with, really dig into why your significant other's previous relationship did not work. And listen, people are quick to place the blame on others. You really dig into what was his part? What was his involvement? It's not okay that it's just, oh, she was crazy, or she did this and she did that. No. Okay, she may have done this and she may have done that. What was your role in it? How did you respond to it? And I even saw somewhere where someone even said, like, maybe it'd be wise to speak to an ex of your significant other or someone that you're dating. Or if not speaking to an ex, or just really getting in and finding out what went wrong. And not just one ex, maybe if you happen to know of others, because he may have a pattern of certain behavior. And trust me, if he has a pattern of certain behavior, it's not going to stop with you. And when I say certain behavior, who knows what it could be? He could be controlling. He may find the smallest things to be a very big issue. But whatever it is, really find out what caused the previous relationship to fail, what was his part involved, and whether or not it would affect your relationship with him moving forward. Also, you need to ask your significant other, your fiance, your boyfriend, whatever, somebody that you're seriously thinking about going into this thing called marriage with, how important is it for you to provide for your family? And will that interfere with the quality time of your family? Because some guys, it's important for them to be the breadwinner. It is important for them to bring home the bacon and make sure their family is taken care of. But does that mean that the family is going to sacrifice their, the time? Are you going to be there? Are you going to miss birthday celebrations? Are you going to miss important celebrations and important events in the lives of your family, whether it's your kids or your wife, because you are really dead set on making sure you provide for the family? What kind of sacrifices will that entail? And when will you decide, it's more important for me to be with my family member than to be at work? So it really takes a balance, and we know that balance is hard. It's not easy, but it's important that that conversation is relayed, because if you have a hardworking man, because some people, it's not even about the potential. The potential is great. The motivation is there. The ambition is there. But sometimes the family takes a back seat to all of that, because that hustle mentality is boom, boom, boom. I'm here to make this money. I'm here to do this for my family. When your family sometimes like, wait, babe, we just want you. We just want you to show up. So that's something that's very important, that needs to be addressed. How do you compromise? How do you compromise with that? And yes, sometimes it's seasonal. And when is enough money? Enough money. That person who is a go-getter and who hustles and who wants to really provide for the family. And meanwhile, the wife is probably like, we're good, babe. We have this in the bank account. The kids can do this, and we can vacation at least once a year. We're good. I would rather that you be here and that you be present for the family than for you to be out there just hustling and grinding when we can't share and enjoy this moment together. Another thing, how does your partner feel about marriage counseling? If you have a person who feels like they don't need a third party in their business and they don't need help, then please either rethink marrying this person or really find a way to emphasize how important it is. And I can only hope that that person will change their minds, because guys, it takes a village. Marriage takes a village. Just like raising a family takes a village. You guys are team players. But at the end of the day, you got to get other people on your team too. It's not a two-person game. It's really not. Like this thing called life, we got other players. You got other intricate players involved. When you get married, you're under the impression that it's the big things that will ruin your marriage. I've learned in marriage is that it's not always the big things that causes divorce. It's the little things that went unchecked, that was overlooked. It's the little things that maybe one partner didn't think was as big of a deal as, the other partner. It's the little things like maybe, you're putting work before our family, and you may think that's not a big deal, but your family may feel like it's a hell of a big deal, So it's those things. So whatever the issue is, you want to communicate it, and you want to communicate it as clearly and concise as possible in order for the other person to understand, but it's then for the other person to act and to show up. It's important that we dig deep. We can't leave things on the surface like, I just want a happy marriage, because happy looks different to other people. Happy to you may not be happy for me. So it's very subjective, and you want to make sure that, the person pretty much relays what that means to them. What does a happy marriage look like to you? So how does that really look? And have you seen examples of a happy marriage? That's important. It's important to know, when it comes to your significant other, who has a sustainable marriage in their family, who has been an example to them, or who have they looked towards? Like what marriage have they looked towards when it comes to what they deem to be a happy and successful marriage? Guys, I wish you all best of luck when it comes to your relationship. We are here to win. We are here to do life with our life partners. So best of luck. And listen, If you found any of this to be helpful, please press the like button and share it with somebody. Share it with a friend. Share it with somebody. Share it with your significant other. If you don't know how to address, some of these topics and you need like, okay, well, I found this. I saw this, hey, what do you think about this? Or what do you think about that? Marriage is great. Marriage is great. Does it take a lot of work? Absolutely. Is it hard? Absolutely. But is it doable? Is it worth it? Absolutely. So best of luck to you and yours.